So when you're cutting longer layers, there's a few things you need to understand. The first thing is that the longer the layer is, right, the longer your hair probably should be, and the longer the layers are, the less movement and fullness you're going to have up top here. And I want to break this down in a few different ways. So if I were to take this section of hair right in through here in the front, right, and I were to comb this out like so, and if I were to cut this and the hair, like if I held all the way out here, this is like the longest layer I could possibly get, and I cut all this right here, and I drop this down, what's going to happen is it's going to, go all the way down to that area where the length is. So the longer you keep the layers, the longer it's going to be, and it's going to be more towards the bottom. Because I just want you to understand layering, especially if you're a client or consumer and you're thinking about getting layers and you go, oh, I just want long layers. You first have to understand, why do you need layers in your hair? Layering is a technique that is designed to remove weight from the hair. It also adds movement, it adds some shape, it could add volume, but when you cut layers to where they are really, really long, that means that you're really only going to get the movement in your hair down in through here, close to where the length is. And that's something that you need to really pay close attention to, because if the length is way down here and your layers are only down here, it's really, in my opinion, sometimes doesn't even do too much, okay? But however, you can have really, really long hair and it will do something. So these longer layers that you see here that I'm holding out from the head, well, chances are, like, if your hair is down to your waist, yeah, it is going to do a lot for your hair, okay? So you have to really understand that when you're creating layers and creating a shape like this, it really is like, it's important to understand why you need the layering. When I'm doing layers, and depending on the haircut, but most of the time when I'm layering hair, I will always start my haircuts in the back area in through here. And what I like to do is I like to take a section right here in the back as my first section. I'm going to hold this. The reason the camera is so low is because the hair is so long. But just to show you, this is what I'm doing right here. I'm taking a section, look how long the hair is. I'm taking a section from the top back right in through here. And the top back of the head, what I will then do is I'll determine, and it's really important you understand this, is determine how long I actually want those layers. And what I'll do is I'll cut my first section right in the middle, and I'll cut it to that length, right? I'll take a section, usually like I say, it's a slice, a horizontal slice right in the back. And it's just this one piece right here. It's the first section that is going to be basically the guide for the entire haircut. And I cut these, and I cut it this long. So this is my layer. That means it's going to drop and fall all the way down to here. See? Starts here, ends up down here. So what I need to then do is connect all of this. And I'll then split the hair in two. So I got the sides and the back. So what I like to do is just get this hair out of the way and just make an even split down the middle. And then I'll take maybe 1 to 2 more sections right here, and I will then cut the hair up to that one section right there, right? The previous section, which is the guide that I cut. Then I'll take another section, a horizontal section, and I'm going to pick the head up in just a second here. And this is what it looks like. So I'm taking sections from right here. This is the back of the head. And I'll go to about where that is, because I don't want to go too much lower. It'll get too thin on the ends. I'll do that on this side, right? I'll do it right here on this side, and then I'll do it on the other side. And I'll stop about right here. And then what I'll do is, once all that is done, I'll take the hair and I will then comb it out from the head vertically. And then that is how you can see how long this hair is. I got to get these camera angles. I'll comb it all the way out, and then I will blend this, okay? Because at that point, you're trying to maintain and keep the weight towards the bottom of the hair. I know layering is a technique designed to remove weight, but you actually need to keep weight and shape and structure on certain parts of the haircut, because if you actually cut this and bring all this up, you're going to end up cutting some of that length, and it's going to be very wispy on the bottom. All right, so I never like to bring everything up, just the two, like 2 or 3 sections here in the back, right? And then I'll work, so I'm working horizontally and then vertically. The first 2 or 3 sections is horizontal, which is straight across. Think of the horizon, right? The horizon is straight across. Here's 1 horizontal section, and here's 2 horizontal sections, and then 3, right? 3 horizontal sections, depending on how thick your hair is or how thin it is. If you don't have a ton of hair, you may just need to do 2 sections. So it's like your first one is right here on top in the back, all the way across the middle, and then your second one is right here, and you take a finer section or not so thick, and then the one under that, and then you're good to go. Okay, so I'll cut all these horizontally, and then when I get lower, I'll bring the hair out from the head this way and cut. And now when I connect the hair towards the front, what I like to do is I will then cut vertically towards the face. So I'll take a section right here, and then I'm going to actually cut the hair towards, because what's going to happen is this hair needs to connect with the top layer in the front, right? So we need to connect this. So I will then cut vertically to connect the top and the back, and then once I'm connected vertically, I then can go in and cut horizontally, which is once again straight across. Then I'll start with my sectioning right down the middle. I'll hold this and go straight up, cut that across, go all the way to the front. And then, as I've mentioned in many of my hair cutting videos, the way I cut hair is I go from the top, the corners, and the sides. So once again, top, corners, and sides. And how that works out is it keeps you very, very balanced, and it also allows you to cut the hair where it's growing from the head. It's how I cut hair. It's how I've always cut hair. Top, corners, sides. The hair grows out from the head, okay? And when you follow the natural growth pattern, it's going to really give you the best results. And then lastly, again, when it comes to long layers, don't expect to have your hair cut, right? And if you're doing this at home, it's like longer layers is a bit easier because you're leaving the hair a little bit longer, obviously the length. But just keep in mind that when you actually have longer layers, what that's simply going to do is just give you some shape and movement down in the very, 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 very bottom. It's not like you're going to get long layers and expect your hair to be so full. But what long layers do sometimes is it just adds a little bit of that flexibility and that movement and that shape throughout the bottom here. Some people are looking for that. Some people just say, you know what, I want to have long layers, and everyone's definition of long layers is different, right? This, to me, is long layers. Long layers may be like this long to you. So just keep in mind that wherever you cut that layer, that's where it's going to fall. So it may end up being short layers or medium layers. Long layers is really designed to create shape and movement throughout the bottom here. So it's great if somebody has maybe curly hair or really, really thick hair, and they just don't want, they still want to be able to pull their hair back. And this is a great option because sometimes if you cut the layers too short, then the hair itself, and I've seen this a million times, say you want to pull your hair back, if they're too short, you're getting all these pieces coming out all the time, and you're like, oh, I just want these pieces back. So keeping the layers a bit longer down through here will also help you keep the hair back. And once again, this goes for men and women. It's a unisex technique. This technique is really designed to just create a shape. For something like this mannequin right here, by creating longer layers, again, it's just going to give you some freedom and some movement down throughout the bottom here. And that's sometimes what's all needed. And this does have longer layers. But you can see it starts about right here and works down into the length. So it's great for, and I've done this on my male clients who have longer hair. They want something that's just going to give a little bit of movement throughout the bottom. This is a great option. I have loads of hair tools. One hair tool I do suggest is not only my blow dryer, but my anti-static vent brush. This is an amazing vent brush paired with my 25 spray. Amazing leave-in treatment spray that transforms your hair. Shop.TheSalonGuy.com. Use code YouTube20 for 20% off. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you soon.